How about it, y'all? This is Daniel Nicholson with Nicholson Farms, and welcome back to another video. It's been a while since we've done a farm update, so I figured we'd do that today. We've been putting out a lot of videos talking about breeding the goats, so I figured we'll just kind of dive into some updates. We've got some good news, we've got some stuff that's about the same, and we've got some pretty bad news that I'd like to share with you today. Just kind of fill y'all in on what we've been dealing with. But we'll get started. We'll go ahead and feed our butcher calf Brisket and our Billy Clifford here, and to get it started, talk about them and talk about some of the changes in the herd. So our butcher calf Brisket back here, we're gonna go ahead and feed him, and Clifford's over here. We're gonna go ahead and feed them so Clifford will kind of hush up. I guess the good news I'll go ahead and share with you, we just sold Tiny, the guy, or my Savannah buck. The guy just pulled out of the yard with him, so Clifford's a little upset. He doesn't know where his buddy went, but he's gonna be hanging out with Brisket for the next couple days until he joins the nannies and Clyde to finish up our breeding. But we'll go ahead and get them feed. We'll take a look at Brisket and see how he's coming along, and maybe old Clifford will calm down some. I know I've talked about it before, but what we're feeding the goats and the calf is this 14% beef conditioner pellet. Brisket is eating about 2% of his body weight right now. I'd say he weighs about 850, 900 pounds. So he's getting about 9 scoops of this feed. Just got a Bud Light pitcher, but that's 2 pounds every time I scoop that out. So Brisket's getting 9 Bud Lights a day right now, but it's coming on him. He's growing pretty good. So if you look at Brisket, he is filling out pretty good. It's not the longest thing, but he is, if he'll let me get behind him, he's getting pretty wide. He ain't gonna let me do it. Come February, he's gonna be some burger and some steaks. As far as Clifford goes, he's gonna be joining the whole herd here in about a week and a half. That'll give Clyde 2 full weeks with those nannies to try to get them bred first, and then I'm going to add him in just so we have one herd and he can clean up whatever's left over. After that, Clifford here is probably going to be up for sale just because I don't need 2 mature bucks with only 30 nannies. So he's going to be up for grabs here in probably about a month and a half. We'll leave him in there with those nannies for about a month and a half first. That's it for as the boys go. The next thing I was going to show you is our new little venture. So I've been thinking about raising meat rabbits here for a while, and I actually got the opportunity. One of my buddies, he actually sells them, and I texted him one night and asked him if he had any males or females available. He texted me back and said he had 15 males available. So I didn't need 15 males, but I had another buddy that was interested. We went in half and we butchered them and kept 1 male apiece, and they are absolutely delicious when we fried them. So I kind of want to get into it slow and just kind of feel my way through it. It could possibly be another source of income for us, but also it's going to help that freezer out staying full. We can have, 1 rabbit will last me and Maddie 2 to 3 meals. So it's just something we're gonna try out. We'll see how we like it. I just gotta keep Maddie away from them so she doesn't get attached, so she'll actually eat them. But what I did here is I built a rabbit tractor, and basically it's 10 foot long and about 3 foot wide, and I've got hardware cloth all the way around it, and I put a roof over the top of about 3/4 of it, or 2/3 of it, and then on the sides I kind of closed in the back just for more protection. But let me flip the camera around and I'll show you the rabbits that we have so far in the bottom of this thing. So I have this lid on hinges where I can get in there and access it, and the bottom of it is 2 by 6 inch wire. This will allow them to kind of dig a little bit and munch on grass. And the white one is a female and she should be bred, and the black and white one is a male. So we'll be separating these soon. I'm actually trying to build something else. I'll tell you about that in a second. But they got their food, their water. I've been moving this little pen around about every 2 days, and it seems to be working out pretty well for them. I'm pretty new to this rabbit thing. We haven't had any babies yet or anything like that, so I'm pretty new to it. We're figuring it out as we go. But what my plan is, I am currently building a rabbit hutch where it'll be 4 bays where I can put 4 rabbits separately. And my plan is to get 2 females, maybe 3, and have 1 male, keeping them separate except for whenever we're breeding them. And I can breed 1 female at a time, so we kind of rotate when we're having babies. And where this rabbit tractor will come in to part is whenever I wean those babies off the mama, I will put them in this rabbit tractor and move them around the pasture and kind of grow them up until they're old enough to be butchered or sold. So it's something new to us. We're just trying it out. We'll keep you updated on how it goes. I didn't make a video building this, and I probably won't make a video building the rabbit hutch, but I'll show you the rabbit hutch whenever I get it built and kind of explain to you why I built it, why I did. So let's move along. I think we're gonna go talk about the bad thing that's going on. So bear with me. It's kind of a touchy subject to me, so let's get up there and see what I'm talking about. So the next update I have for you is on our pigs, our little pig operation. I really didn't know if I wanted to include this into a video, but I try to be as open and honest about what I've learned and what I'm going through from being a small time farm that I possibly can to help somebody else out later on. But I definitely learned a valuable lesson this year. Several months ago, about 2 months ago, month and a half, you might remember we had a video where we bought 10 little piglets. Currently we're down to 5. It's been a rough go at it this year. I've had pigs for the past 5-6 years and never really had a problem. I have lost pigs in the past, but it was complete different circumstances than what's happened this year. And I kind of want to share this story with y'all just so y'all don't fall into the same trap I did. So pigs have been super hard to find this year. I was really struggling to find a decent deal on some piglets, and I was kind of falling behind the 8 ball as far as time-wise goes to try to get these pigs grown out to the market that I try to shoot for, which is about February, March, when people are butchering in our area. So I pulled the trigger fast on some pigs that are kind of questionable where they came from, but they were a decent price. It's turned around and bit me in the butt pretty good. Like I said, we've lost 5, and I've got 1 more that I just don't know if he's gonna make it or not. But little backstory, where I bought these pigs from was a guy that goes to the sale barn. He buys a bunch of pigs, he raises some out, and he sells a bunch of little piglets and all kind of stuff. And I'm not faulting him. This was my mistake. Yeah, I'm a little bitter about the situation, but this was completely my mistake. When I saw those pigs, I knew I shouldn't have bought those pigs, but I did it anyways. So this is all on me. It's coming out of my wallet. It's just kind of discouraging. I've lost some money on this, and we might still break even, we'll see, but it's just disheartening watching any animal kind of go downhill, and you're doing all that you can for that animal, and it's still not working out. But what's basically happened in the past really 3 weeks, the pigs will be looking just fine. Back up just a step. Whenever I picked them up, they're all looking good except for 1. 1 was a little weaker, kind of a little rough hair coat, and I was like, well, I'll get them home, deworm them, that'll do the trick. And so I did deworm all of them whenever I got them. Mixed some stuff in their feed, safeguard dewormer in their feed, fed that to him, and thought that'll take care of the trick. He'll get his hair back right, everything will look good. Well, about 2 to 3 weeks went by, and that pig started losing a little bit of weight, and I kind of watched him, and I gave him antibiotics. I dewormed him again. I gave him vitamin B, every trick that I know that's from my experiences before, just to try to turn this pig around. And I lost that one. And within the next 2 weeks, I had 4 more just go downhill within 3 or 4 days. Honestly, they look like they're just fine, and then 3 or 4 days later, They've dropped a bunch of weight, kind of lethargic acting. They're still eating and still drinking water, which just kind of blew my mind, but I was hitting them with antibiotics as much as I could. For the directions on the bottle, I was hitting them with vitamin B every day, and it just didn't work out. They just went downhill super fast. I've got one more in here that's just kind of moping around. It's kind of skinny, and I've been doing the same thing with it. Hopefully it'll make it, but I don't know. It's just been, I hate to see that. I hate to see any animal suffering. There's been a couple of them that I ended their suffering earlier because I knew the outcome, and it's just, like I said, it's super disheartening. I didn't know if I wanted to share this in a video, but like I said, it's part of the experience. I've definitely learned from this. I will not be buying any animal, whether it's a goat, a pig, a horse, a chicken, whatever. I will not be buying any animal that I don't feel comfortable with. And looking back, I know I shouldn't have bought those pigs. I know, I kind of knew what they've been through already, through going through sale barns and being put in a pen with several more pigs that's come from multiple sale barns and God knows where else before that. So like I said, it's a bad situation, and it's all my fault. I can't point the fingers at anybody else. I can't blame the guy I bought them from because I bought the pigs. So that's it. I'm gonna flip the camera around. Sorry for spilling for so long. I just did want to share this and kind of be open and honest about it. But I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you what we do still have. And I'm gonna show you that one pig that's still kind of struggling. And like I said, I don't know what else to do. So let's flip the camera around and check them out. So these are the 4 that are still doing pretty well. 3 of these are still not really growing all that great in my mind. I think all of them, or at least in the past raising pigs, they should all be at least, maybe not quite as big as the black one because he was a little bit bigger when he got here, but a little bit bigger than what they are. Sorry about the bad lighting. But they are still growing. They're still looking pretty good. I think we're over the worst of it. I did let the pigs back out in the pasture, just kind of give them some more space, get them out of that area that they were in case that was the problem. But coming into the frame right here is that pig that doesn't feel that well. And you can see it's kind of skinny. It's just came from the feed trough. It's going over there to drink now. I've been hitting it with, I hit it with antibiotics 2 days ago. And before that, I hit it with antibiotics 5 days before that. And then I've been hitting it with vitamin B every day, just trying to help it along. But you can just see, just does not look like he feels good. You can see his rib bone. It's super discouraging. I hate it. I just don't know what else to do. So that's the bad news, and hopefully this is behind us. Hopefully that pig starts feeling a little bit better and starts putting on some weight again. Did look a little bit better today, but I don't want to get my hopes up quite yet. It's still got a long road ahead of it, but it just is what it is. Super disheartening. We are about to go looking to buy some more pigs, a little bit bigger than what these are, just because we have some customers that we sell to every year coming up. So we really need to fill those orders. We don't want to lose those customers, and losing all those pigs put a big damper in that. Please don't beat me up too bad in the comments over this. Like I said, I just want to be honest with you and open about it. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them. But for as negative thoughts, I'm not going to pay it any attention. I'm not going to respond. The truth of the matter is I do care about every animal that's on this property. I do my best that I can, physically, financially, mentally, and all that stuff. I just try to do my best I can. And I know some people's going to think, well, why didn't you take them to the vet or something like that? But the whole situation with that is I can't afford to take all these animals to the vet. The profit margin on them already is so small. And you talk to a farmer, they hardly ever are taking an animal to the vet anytime something's getting sick. But like I said, please don't beat me up in the comments too bad about this. With all that being said, let's go check out the goats and see how they're doing. We're starting to get close to our end of Clyde's 2 weeks by themselves, but we're gonna go grab some feed and take it to them. So sorry about the wind. It's pretty windy up here on this hill, but we're up here where we're keeping the goats up the road. We call it a lease. It's really just the guy's letting us use his property to keep the grass down. But we're up here. All the goats are looking good. Just been checking on them every afternoon. They've been up here for about 2 weeks now. They're going to be up here for at least another week. I'm going to leave them up here for an extra week. And some of this fescue can still get some use out of it before we move on back to the home farm. But for the most part, the breeding is kind of slowed down. For the first couple days, Clyde here was super busy. For the past couple afternoons when I've come up here, I really haven't seen too many signs of does being in heat or anything like that. So it's starting to slow down. They went through that first cycle. Here in 20 something days they'll start cycling again, and he'll be going back to work. But everything's looking good. He was kind of chasing one doe when I got here, so everything could possibly be already bred. We won't know for sure until we get some kids on the ground or we start seeing some more signs here in a couple weeks. We are going to be adding our boar buck in next week, just to kind of clean up whatever Mr. Clyde couldn't hit, and we'll go from there. I had somebody in the comments want me to point out the goats that have a lot of Kiko in them in the herd. I don't really have that many, but we'll go ahead and flip the camera around and I'll kind of walk around and show you what kind of breed combinations I have. For the most part, everything's got a lot of boar in it, but I'll flip the camera around, we'll walk through the herd and just kind of see what that looks like. A lot of these does that you see that's got red heads throughout the whole herd, or any kind of coloring just on their head, they're gonna be at least 50% boar. Most of them came out of our boar buck that we've had in the past. This doe right here I purchased, but her mom was a full-blooded boar and her dad was just kind of here or there, whatever. Some of these goats came from sale barn, so it's hard to really tell. There's several in here that I know where they came from, or the majority of them really I've bred over the past couple years. So let's see if we can find some Kikos. So this is our New Zealand buck, Clyde. He is 100% Kiko. I know that for sure, at least if his papers are correct. But I have no doubt he's 100% Kiko. This little white nanny right here, just looked up at us. She is 50% boar, 50% Kiko. I bought her several months ago. She's a really nice goat. She's real thick, pretty long. I'm really happy with her. This big red doe, she's majority boar. That little goat in the back, she has some of the best babies, but I picked her up at a sale barn. The closest thing I can think of is she's a Nigerian dwarf. I don't know, but I really like her. She stays really healthy, fat looking. She raises some really good babies. This baby right here is hers from 2 years ago, and this was the two from this past year. So she performs well. See if we can find some more Kikos. this nanny right here with the one blue eye, half white face, she is 75% Kiko. Her dad was a New Zealand buck, and her mom was a commercial Kiko. So she's almost full-blooded Kiko, but it's hard to really say all the way. She's had 2 daughters for us, and they have turned out really great. One is going to be this black-headed one right here. She's going to be 50% Kiko and 50% boar. And then the one she's kind of crossing over with the red head right here, that's her daughter from last year, and she is actually going to be 75% boar and a quarter Kiko. And then this was this girl's daughter from last year. She's 50% Kiko and 50% boar. But everything else is pretty much just kind of crossbred boar, other than the does that are all white. They've got a good bit of Savannah in them. It's hard to tell for sure 100% what they are, just because no papers or anything like that, but you can look at them and tell they're Savannah. Well, I think that's going to be it for this video. I really appreciate y'all hanging around, checking out our new meat rabbit operation that we're trying to get going. It's going to be a learning curve on that, as anything else is. But other than that, everything's looking pretty good other than the pigs. Brisket's got about 3 more months with us until he's going to be going to the freezer. Clifford over there, he's still getting adjusted to his new living conditions without his buddy Tiny. And all the goats up at the lease are doing well. I think most of the breeding's already done, which is super exciting to have half Kiko babies on the ground here in about 5 months. As far as the pigs go, we're gonna make it through this. Hopefully everything turns around for the better. Hopefully we can find some more pigs to kind of fill the orders that we kind of already have promised, kind of not, but that's just, we'll let y'all know about that situation. But other than that, I really appreciate y'all hanging out with us. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we'll see y'all on the next one.